So hi everybody, so my name is Christina from the Royal Belgian Library, and I'm gonna try to give my best to explain you what is about with the BelgicaWeb project. So a brief introduction and some context. So BelgicaWeb is a 2 years research project funded by Belspo. It was initially planned for 3 years, but you know, money issues. So it's going to be 2 years. We are going to make it the best of it. So the main focus is archiving website and social media content, developing a multi-language access platform and an API, making also some data enrichment, and also take that chance to analyze legal frameworks for data exchange, copyright, and privacy. We are currently working with different partners to bring this project to a successful conclusion. So, of course, KBR, project coordination and development. We also work with the University of Namur, and more precisely, CRITS, for the legal expertise. We are also working with Ghent University for ID Lab for data enrichment and user engagement, and also for the research community. And we are also working with MICT for evaluation and user engagement. So the expert panel, we have the expert panel that help us to make the selection and or the collections and the seeds. They also help us for the user requirements for the access platform and the API, but also for the data enrichment and the full analysis of the results of the user requirement survey will be presented at RISO in Germany, beginning of June. They also help us for the quality control of the capture content, and they are going to provide feedback on the V1 and V2 versions of the access platform and API. So this is kind of the roadmap that we try to still follow. Hope, finger crossed that we are going to make it on time. So this is briefly the team. I'm going to pass this one. So far we received the seed lists. It's 330 seeds for a total of 16 collections. And as you can see, like usual, I think in that field now, social media is a big part of the seeds that we have to collect. Here, a brief graph about which social media will be more saved, more crawl. So we can notice that Instagram and Facebook are probably on the top. Twitter, X is also one of the social media that we will have to crawl. And so, since I'm a software developer, I think this presentation is going to be a little bit more geeky, let's say like that. Sorry for, for that. So briefly about the tools. Well, we are currently making the different crawlers with BrowserTrix crawler. Cannot wait to use the new functionalities that we saw today, by the way. So why we chose that one? Well, different reason. Based on real-time browser usage that allow us to capture some JavaScript content, so dynamic content. We all know that it's probably the issue for the moment regarding that. So it's also open source and updated. It's also using Docker containers, so it's simplifying all the deployment to production and everything. It has also the capability of stimulate user sessions, so it can be really useful for all the social media. It supports the WAC format, so we can maybe save some space on the server. And also including the CDX indexes, so for better and more descriptive and technical metadata. And it's also very configurable. We are also going to make use of Tartube, obviously. We don't know yet exactly. We are going to use it, but it's still an open question for some seeds that will be maybe a little bit more difficult to harvest. For the same kind of reasons, you can download only the track, for example. So again, it's going to save some space on the server. There is a big list of websites, of media websites, let's call it like that, that are going to be able to be used with Tartube. And it's also open source and quite a lot updated, so maybe we can make use of it. So, for the technical stack, we are on something that is like really web development. So we build it with PHP 3. Database aspects will be handled with PostgreSQL. It's open source. It's really pretty fast. The performances are pretty good, and it's also having a lot of different features, including some JSON feature that we can probably use. About PHP, well, it's mainly the main language used for web content, web dynamic content linked to database, and the new version is like highly performed, so good choice. About the infrastructure, we are also using Docker. I'm gonna pass this one because we use Docker like all the time for multiple reasons. About the specific development, we are using the framework Symfony, currently in the version 7. It follows solid design principles, so MVC for model view controller. It helps to keep a very good organization of the code, and it's also more maintainable and testable. There is also a wide range of built-in features, so the user management, security, and templating. Just for the record, the templating used is Twig. It also has a very strong community and a very strong documentation. And yeah, there is included in that security package a lot of very nice features that are going to help to build a safe place and a safe platform. About the API, it's going to be built with API platform. That's something that is built on top of Symfony. So like that, we can share some part of the code. It's also coming with automatic OpenAI documentation, like Swagger type. So it's helping to generate interactive API documentation. So it's going to be more it's going to ease the use of the API for other developers. There is also a filter management already included with a pagination also that can be very useful for a large amount of data. It supports multiple data formats like JSON-LD, JSON, XML, so it's more flexible for the future API consumer. And as I mentioned, it's also integrated with Symfony, so we can share some part of the code. The classic, of course, the front end, we are not going to use some fancy thing, I guess. It's going to be HTML, CSS, and Twitter Bootstrap for the design. And for all the JavaScript things, it's going to be Stimulus. It's quite of a new technology, I mean, in a way that it's used by Symfony. I think it came with Symfony version 6, but I'm not even sure. Maybe it's the 7, to be honest with you, so something that we have to check. So you go. About the data processing, Well, we are going to use some Python and some WAC scripts, probably to extract some of the more technical metadata, so the date of the crawl and things like that. That's not a decision that is already definitive, let's say like that. We still have to talk with some member of the panel and the people from ID Lab that are going to help us to make the data enrichment. But this is something that we think about. So some previews, don't mind the fit content, that's totally a geeky thing. It's just to have an idea of what we are going to build as the design. So basically that there is 3 parts on the platform, 3 big sections. The visible section, so here like home page, about, contact page, a way for the people that are interested in the project to have more information. Then we will have the user dashboard for the people that are registered. It's going to be the main center for them. So the last collection, the profile settings for changing password and things like that. People will be also able to save the last search and things like that. Don't know why there is 2 times that slide, but anyway. This is kind of user dashboard collection list. Again, it's fake content, but it's just a matter for the people to see quickly. It's a way of having a look at what's in the database currently. Here is the admin dashboard. So since we want to have some explanation about what the project is about, well, we need to have something to edit that content in multiple languages, since we all know that Belgium had a lot of different ones, right? And here, brief overview of the API. So this is the kind of swagger that you can have with API platform. And for example, here for data collection, so for all the kind of call that you can make with the API, the get, the post, and everything, there is some example of the data, so like that people know how to provide a good body that is going to work for the API. The challenge, like usual, with the social media, it will be the biggest challenge for us. For all the reason, and I think I'm going to run out of time, and we all know the reason why we have to be careful with the social media, so I'm not going to describe all of that, but we are facing exactly the same issues as other organizations and so on. The social media key, again, Instagram is going to be also a challenge since they changed the API. It's like the usual things that are going to be an issue. About the classic websites, since I'm pretty new in the web archiving world, this is something that I wanted to point out a little, because open source tools are very great, but I think as a developer they need all the support to avoid an excessive technical debt. So this is also a core for the developers to go more into those open source tools. And some solution for alternatives to classic API, we will maybe have to explore some on a case-by-case basis, depending of the type of content. We will maybe have to try to new software or things like that. We will see. About browser tricks, I find very useful the auto-scroll behavior to mimic a real user behavior. I had very different results while using this auto-scroll. And we are going to also following the recommendation from the survey to gather user requirements in order to provide the best functionality that are the most required by the future users. About the data enrichment, it's going to be the next step of the project. So the technologies are still need to be selected based again on the requirements on the expert panel. And a word about the results. Basically we already have some results. So selection of content. Well, it's indeed advanced search, string search, and browsing social media and URL search that are going to be the most advanced features that we have to provide. Also, export and download the data is something that people are willing to have. Good filters, an overview of the result and information about the right and access. And so on. I think, yeah, here are the results, some of the basic results for the moment. So, and the conclusion, there is still a lot of work to do, so we are still having 1 year, but on a very personal note, it's a very exciting project. So, next step, data enrichment, the quality control of the crawl content, setting up efficient search tools, and develop the unique feature following the result of the survey. And I think we are all good. Thank you.